Hey there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited as always. I'm excited about this live today. And the title of the live is simply the importance of being giant for yourself. You know, over the last 20 years, I've spent my entire professional life as a coach and consultant working with women who are smart and they're sharp and they've wanted to package their background, their skills, their talent into a high ticket product online or offline. And I will tell you that my most successful clients understood what I'm going to talk about today. And that's the importance of being giant for yourself. It's everything. For me, I remember just my story. When I got started in my business, I made a decision. And that decision for me was that I would take my background as a corporate trainer and I would make a decision that I wanted to launch my own business, and I would launch that business based on not evidence that it would work, right? But a belief in myself. I decided to be giant for myself, and literally it changed my life. So, what I'm going to talk about today are just six simple elements that I know are essential if you are interested in being gigantic in any way for yourself. And if you know, like maybe you're already doing great and amazing things, but you know that there is more for you and you haven't yet stepped into this next highest version of yourself, this is really going to support you. The points that I have here. My goal, my aim is to support women on their journey of realizing and actualizing the highest vision that they have for themselves and not have those things on a back burner for years or months or the I'm going to do it when list, which a lot of women are guilty, and you might be guilty of that right now. But now, because there's no better time than now for you to step into this version of yourself that you keep thinking about, dreaming about, writing about, vision boarding about. Now is the time. Now, here's the thing I know about you already. I know that you already are and have realized a lot of your goals. You've already invested tremendous amount of time, money, and effort in the careers that you've had. You've already created tremendous results for others, but now it's your time. And you've been thinking, like, should I launch now or should I wait, to start of the new year? Or when should I launch? The time is now. So I'm going to jump right into this short live today. And it's the importance of being a giant for yourself. Now, do me a favor. If any of this resonates, share this with a friend, share this with your community, tag someone that you know, leave a comment because, that's what it's about, is sharing with other people so that the people in our world are elevated and we have more people to play with because of it. All right. So, number one, uh, if you are looking to become a giant for yourself, one of the things I think is very important, probably the most important, is to get a clear vision of what it is that you want to accomplish, what you want to do, and prioritize it. So, let me talk about that for a minute because you might be good. This is what I've seen. You might be good at one part of this. So that might be the vision. And a lot of times people think that the vision is just simply writing it down, which is spiritual, right? Write your visions upon tablet and make them plain, okay? But that's only one part of it. The other piece of it is you've got to prioritize that which is written. And that means that each and every day, the thing that you want to accomplish, the thing that's on your vision board, the thing that's in your vision book, that you actually have priorities each and every day around accomplishing those things. What could it look like? It might mean if you are thinking about being an author, instead of you writing, I want to be an author, in the next year, or I want to be a New York Times bestselling author in the next year, that instead or in addition to, you are also prioritizing writing. And it's a part of your life. It's a part of your schedule. It's on your calendar. See, the reason that people become giant in their purpose is because they prioritize their purpose. You guys, repeat after me, right? Prioritize your purpose. And the question is, are you doing that? It could be that you are interested in being a speaker. And that is the goal that you have. You're like, the transition I want to make in my business is I want to be a speaker. Great. But have you prioritized speaking or reaching out to places where you can speak for fee, right? Or not. So that's the difference between people who have the idea or the vision versus the folks that actually accomplish what it is that they want. Is people who accomplish what they want actually, they have priority in their day, they have actions in their day that back up the thing that they want to do. And that's my question to you right now. If I were to ask you, based on the vision that you have, the calling that's on your life, have you made it a priority? And I see it both ways. I see people who obviously have a priority of their dreams and they make them happen because each and every day they have steps that they take and actions that they take toward that thing. And then I see the other side of it where I'll speak to someone for the very first time and they'll tell me, I've been wanting to, start my coaching business for the longest time. And yet they've never actually done anything, never made a move. It's been 2 years, it's been 3 years, it's been 5 years, it's been, I'm going to do it when the kids go off to school. I'm going to do it when I transition out of my job, but they never actually do it. That's the difference between people who have priority and people who don't, and whatever it is that they want to accomplish. Today, we're talking about the importance of being giant for yourself. And I have built an entire business around supporting women who I do call giants. And my clients call me the chief giant because I love to shine a spotlight on my clients, what it is that they want to do, and help them show up as the most gigantic versions of themselves, which is always inside of you. But a lot of times we have muted that desire, or we're not associating with people who bring out the best in us as it relates to our highest and tallest dreams. And so you're giant, not really operating in that way. Or maybe it's that you've done some gigantic things in your life already, and now you're ready for that next level of elevation, right? For sure. Number two, the second thing that I think is equally important once you prioritize the vision is commitment makes things easier. And lack of commitment, in my opinion, makes everything harder. And a lot of times we don't think of it this way, but again, when we look at prioritizing the vision, the next thing that comes with that is the commitment to be consistent and persistent. And that's true, right? So it's not just saying these are the things that I need to do, but it's actually the commitment to be consistent and to be persistent that allow us to realize that we're being giant to ourselves. I mean, if we looked at exercise for an example, it's really great. It's not enough that you have the workout equipment, you have the vision to be fit, right? It doesn't matter that you have the days planned, but it is literally the commitment each and every day to spend whatever set period of time, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, working on yourself, working on your body. That's ultimately what allows us to change our life. It's not the statement of commitment, but it is the action that applied to the commitment that makes it real, right? It's the thing that allows us to be consistent and persistent. And I want you to think about this. Being giant for yourself is all about commitment. When we're inconsistent, okay, then everything that we're doing is hard because it's like you're always starting over again. And when you are consistent, things just start to blend together. And I know that you've already seen this before, that you just feel like there's a flow in what it is that you do. It could look like a number of things, right? It could be, again, going back to if you were an author and you're writing a book and you are writing every single day at a structured time that you've prioritized for yourself, and you're committed to that, you're consistent and you're persistent around that. Ideas might be flowing, the storyline is flowing because you are consistent, versus the person that picks up their pen and they write a lot one day and then they don't pick up the pen again for 2 months and they're starting all over again, right? Because you don't have the benefit of momentum. Consistency and persistency, they're your friends. And I will tell you, they will make every single thing that you're doing in your life and in your world a lot easier. Today, we're talking about the importance of being a giant for yourself. And that's the only conversation that I want to have with you. Those are the only women that I prefer to work with, women who see the bigness inside of them and are looking to be have a strong vision on their life. They know that their skills and their talents, they're called to serve others with those skills and talents. They are looking to take that vision and prioritize that vision and be consistent and persistent over time so they can realize the dream, right? The third thing that I want you to really understand deeply is that you got to take risk for rewards, right? Try to say that as a tongue twister. You got to take risk in order for you to reap the rewards, right? And I always say, like, being fearless, that means being less full of fear. It happens when you take risks. So the more risks you take, the less fearful you are, okay? Because you build your muscle of resilience. And the less risk you take, the more fearful you become, right? So think about it, right? You become full of fear, the less you take risks. You want greater rewards, it means you've got to face the things that scare you a little bit. It's true every single time in my life that I've ever gone to that next level, I had to do something that I had never done before, or I had to get on stages that I had never been on before. I mean, it could be something like maybe your goal is to do lives, and you're like, it terrifies me to do lives. That was me. Okay, I can relate to that. And the reality is that it was as a direct result of me going live more consistently, I became fearless, less full of fear. Okay. Whereas inconsistency will almost always leave you with that fullness of being fearful. I've said a whole mouthful there, and I know that that's going to support somebody. If it's supporting you in some way, I want you to write, you know what? This is supporting me, Mia. Okay. Because that's my goal today, is to move you in the direction of being the giant for yourself that you're fully capable of being. Number four. The fourth thing that I know is really important about, stepping into the highest version of yourself as a giant is getting a mentor and a strategic advisor who will tell you the truth. So, Mia, what do you mean, tell me the truth? I mean, tell you the truth. So often we love to have people in our life and in our world that keep us safe, right? That let us tell stories to ourselves that are not real. But the truth of the matter is, your greatest growth is going to come when someone can see you as you can be, not just as you are, and that can speak that truth to you. And that's what I do when I coach my clients. Most often, they might be thinking about what they want to do. Maybe they are packaging a product that they've come up with based on their expertise, their background, their experience, and they want to leverage it. And they might be thinking, you know what, Mia, I just want to charge $2,500 per client. And I'll look at the elements of what they bring to the table, their background, their skills, their talent, their track record. And I realize that their pricing doesn't match who they are. And I tell them the truth, that, helping that client to step into the highest version of themselves is my responsibility. You got to have people in your world that call you out, that call your fears out, and it calls out your doubt, your insecurities. You got to have people in your world that want you to elevate. And I think a lot of times we are in worlds with people who, particularly when you're very successful already, who are just like, man, you've already got it all. But you know that there's a calling on your life, and you know that there is more for you. And, and that now is the right time, not later, okay, not when the kids are gone, but right now. And you just need someone that can speak that truth to you. One of the things that changed my entire life, I have this coach who I worked with over the years, a gentleman, and he changed my life. And one of the things that he helped me to see was one of the things that I was so close to. I didn't even know I was that great at that particular thing. He helped me build my webinar. And I'll never forget, I built this webinar with him about 8 years ago. It still runs today. It still brings in countless number of people. And he was a person that helped me to structure that and showed me how to leverage one of my best skills is using video to bring in tons of clients, to bring in tons of revenue in my business. And he was the very first and only person that I met that told me that if you get the right mentor, strategic advisor, they're going to teach you things about yourself that likely you might even be too close to see, or that you don't even acknowledge. And that is absolutely the truth. So if you don't have that right now, you need to have people that can tell you the truth, because sometimes we are in relationships with people who don't tell us the truth. And what I mean is, they don't tell you all of who you are. They allow the story that you tell yourself to be the story. And what I felt with my clients most often, that's not the story. There's another girl inside of you, right? There's a bigger piece of who you are, that getting that client to have agency around that thing, to be able to see the thing that really is scaring you, the part of you that maybe you're marketing right now, and you're marketing scared and afraid because of maybe the platforms that you have to use. And you're like, I don't know, I don't want to sound braggy. I don't want, or maybe you're afraid of failing because in your career, you've done really well. Now you're launching this business and you feel vulnerable. But having someone to call out those things to you, the things that are unreal, right? The things that are untrue, and taking a stand for you, you deserve that. And if you don't have that in your world, I want to encourage you to make sure that you do have someone that strategically advises you, that is there for you, that sees when you're playing small, and that calls you out to be a greater version and higher version of yourself. And then there's number 5. You believe to receive. Okay? Believe to receive. You got to understand that faith fuels your outcome. So we got to believe to receive. And so a lot of times we are in places where we want to launch something in our business. We want to realize a certain goal. You want to build a certain coaching or consulting practice. You want to work with a certain number of clients, and you want proof first that it's going to work, but it doesn't work that way. The reality is that you got to step into the thing that you want, and you got to believe with all your heart that you are the messenger for what it is. If someone would have told me 20 years ago when I started, Mia, you coach thousands of women, tons of different, backgrounds and professions, and brilliant, amazing. I had no idea when I was first getting started that is what using my life, using my talents, using my ability to strategically advise women would have brought me. I had no idea. If someone would have told me, Mia, you would have the opportunity to do Emmy-nominated, nationally syndicated television shows, right, as your own brand, right, and be paid talent to do that, I wouldn't have. It wasn't something that I even knew, but it was on my vision board. I did prioritize it. I walked fearlessly in the direction of the thing I wanted. I was consistent and persistent, and I worked on myself. I worked on my mindset. I had to believe, right, it to receive it. And you're going to have to do the same thing. And so sometimes we don't realize what we want, and we're not receiving what we want. And it is literally because of the beliefs that we have about ourselves and our ability. Whenever I see that effort is inconsistent, belief is down, right? So when you're not putting in the work, when you are inconsistent, when you're not persistent, it's because of your beliefs. And because of that, you don't get to realize or receive what is available to you easily and effortlessly, right? And consistently and on a daily basis. But the key is you got to show up for yourself. Faith fuels outcome. Okay. Faith always does. And that's really important. So I hope that as a result of what I've shared today, that this has moved you, that in some way you hear what I'm saying here and you're like, you're absolutely right, Mia. That's me. Okay. And that I know it's important for me to be a giant for myself. And I haven't been showing up 100% for me. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Okay. So today we talked about the importance of being a giant for yourself. There are the points that I covered are: number 1, you need to get a clear vision and prioritize that vision. That's very important, first and foremost. What is it that you see for yourself that you want to realize? 2, commitment makes things easier. Lack of commitment makes things harder. And it's just, if you want to be good at anything, you've got to be committed to it. And commitment is practice. That's all it is. And you become what you practice. You also become what you don't practice. All right. So you got to take risks for the rewards that you want. You got to be fearless, meaning when you step into things that can scare you, you become less fearful because you become more resilient, and not fearful, meaning full of fear from not taking the actions that can change your life. You invest your time, your money, and your effort like you believe your goals will work. And I think that that goes without saying, invest at a level you can't walk away from. It's so important. So many times when I hear how women have invested prior to coming to me, and I realize that you didn't have a goal problem, you had a belief problem. When you are investing in significant amounts in yourself, time, money, effort, energy, right? It tells me that you don't necessarily believe that the thing you want to do can happen for you. It's true. When we believe that this is what I'm here for, this is what is another part of what my capacity is. This is how I get to fulfill my purpose. We own that thing. All right. And if you're not showing up that way, meaning investing in your time, your money, and your effort, like you believe your goals will happen, then you've got a belief problem, which is a mindset issue. And that's why I wanted to talk about it today. Get a mentor or strategic advisor that'll tell you the truth. And you got to have people in your life and in your world that will just tell you the truth. It's easy to make investments and for people to say, you're doing great, or stay right there. But I have found that challenging my clients to elevate what their expectations are for themselves brings out the best in them. And I do it with compassion, but sometimes tough love, because it's easy to want to hold on to the version of yourself that's stuck, or the version of yourself that's scared, right? For the biggest opportunity that you want to see happen. Believe to receive. Faith always fuels outcome. So the fact of the matter is, if you want to receive more clients, if you want to receive higher profits, you got to believe first. It doesn't work any other way. Faith always fuels your outcome. And I hope that that has really helped you to really think about what is next for you in terms of you being the giant for yourself. If listening to this, and it's time to stand taller, right? And you heard something, you're like, you're talking to me, right? This is not theory. This is real talk, right? And I want you to understand that it's time for us to work together. I'd love to be able to support you and support you in being the highest and tallest version of yourself and realizing for yourself what is next, right? So I'm opening a limited number of spots for women who are done trying to figure things out all by themselves, and they want to step into what's next for them. And that's higher level guidance is what they desire and they crave. They want higher level structures. They want to know how to build a business around their life. If that's you, they want to leverage their background and their gifts to figure out what is next for them. And even if you don't know right now what that product or service or business is, understand it's inside of you. You can easily reach out to me, either find the link that's here somewhere on this page or description for this live, or you can just DM me, and we'll make sure that you and I have a conversation and that we're able to see what next could look like for you, because there is a next for you. I hope that there's something that I shared with you today that really supports you. Let me see comments over here that really supports you into stepping into the highest and next version of yourself. My goal, right, today was I did my part. Okay, my part is to support you and understanding the importance of being giant and a giant for yourself. You deserve it. Are there any questions or comments? And if there are, over the next couple of seconds, I'm here to answer any question that you guys have on the floor. My goal today was to move you and for you to understand that it's time. All right. It's time. If you hear this is a part of you that you feel called out, there's a reason for it. And this message was to elevate you and what you do next, right? So I'm Mia Rajic, business and life consultant, and I got started in my company over 20 years ago, made a decision to show up as the highest and tallest version of myself, to be a giant for myself first, and then to lead thousands of women to do exactly the same and so much more. I'd love the opportunity to be able to support you on your journey as well. Look forward to talking to you soon. Have a great and amazing rest of your day.